My name is Jasmina from Jasmina Brozovic Astrology. I want to welcome everybody for this New Year's early party with me and my Astro friends. I'm so happy that I could have this beautiful, gorgeous, amazing astrologers with me today, and we're going to try to tell you more in detail what will this New Year's Eve be like. Should you stay home or should you go and party large? So before we start, I want to give everybody an opportunity to introduce themselves. Catriona, please, I will start with you. Tell us
I'm
who you are.
delighted.
Where are you from?
First, my Aries moon loves to go first. Hi everyone, I'm Catriona. I'm from the southwest of Ireland. Sag rising, Aries moon, Cancer sun, and I studied astrology with Jasmina. That's how I know her. We both studied astrology with Uranian astrologer Matt, and yeah, I have been working as a professional astrologer only since the start of this year. It's been a wild ride, and I'm loving every minute of it. I love to teach astrology online and break it down in as simple as possible to make it more accessible to the masses. That's what I'm really passionate about. And I'm delighted to be here today.
Yeah, welcome, Catriona. Woohoo! We have another Aries moon, so I have to go. Hannah, please go.
My feelings would be hurt, Yasmina. Hi, yes, my name is Hannah. So I'm from Belfast, and just to go with the big three then. So yeah, my sun is in Aquarius, moon in Aries, and I have a Virgo rising. I suppose astrology discovered me in 2016, and I've been passionate about it ever since. I started making YouTube videos about my findings and my discoveries and just having fun with it. Little did I know that I would set out to, start an astrology business. So yeah, it's been full of ups and downs, and I've loved it overall. It's certainly something I'm very, very passionate about, and I like to make things practical and digestible for people.
And we can see that in your YouTube and Instagram content. So yeah, welcome, Hannah. I'm gonna go now by alphabetical order, so I don't offend anybody, because I know there's some Aries placements here and there. But yeah, well, Andrea, please go ahead, introduce yourselves, please.
Hi guys, I'm Andre. Thank you so much for having us, Jasmina. It's good to talk to you guys again. I'm from the United States, from Kansas. It's called a flower state, but I love it here. It's a good state to live in. My big three: Virgo sun, Libra moon, Pisces rising, and astrology, as Hannah said, discovered me in about 2017, 2018. Like Catriona, I just started working professionally and sharing my content this year, and it's just been amazing to meet so many cool people and interact and give readings and build friendships. So I'm very excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, Andrea, I think you're breaking up a little bit, so you have to pull your maybe headphones down or something so we can hear you better. Thank you. Yeah, I want to also give a shout out to Catriona, who actually introduced Andrea and Caleb to me. So thank you for that, Catriona, like a true networker. Caleb, can you tell us more about yourself, please?
Yeah, my name's Caleb. My handle on most socials are astrology, variation on there. I stumbled into astrology back in 2015 or 16 was via the doorway of occultism, but it wasn't until 21, I think, that I started making astrology content and giving readings to folks beyond just my friends and family. And then it was 2022 that I rebranded as Heavy Metal Astrology. My big three, I have got a Virgo sun, I'm Libra rising with a smattering of planets in Libra, and then Scorpio. So big, like late summer, early fall energy in my chart. I make content generally what I write about transits, planetary ingresses, retrogrades, blah, blah, but then I'll like pair them with heavy metal artists. Those are my two great loves, like really dark, dense music and astrology. So I have a way to marry them together, I suppose. And yeah, it's been great. starting to follow Andre and his content. Big shout out to Catriona, I guess, for connecting me and Jasmina as well. And yeah, I'm super stoked to be here.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Caleb. You're breaking up. I hope that the connection is going to be better. And at last but not the least, it's Sid, the only person who actually met in person, so I can justify that he actually exists. We met at a mega conference this summer in New York. So Sid, please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone. I'm happy to be here. I'm from I live in DC, East Coast, USA. My big three are Libra rising, Aries sun, and Moon conjunct Uranus in Sagittarius. And so I love this time of the year. I'm super excited. And let's see, I got into astrology around, I've always been interested in astrology, but in terms of like houses and rising signs and all that stuff, I got into it around 2011, 2012. When it's interesting because I was actually in med school when I got into astrology, and then I got into it so much that I left that profession. I was a former foot and ankle surgeon. So I'm fully invested in it, and I love studying all types of astrology. My favorite is because ruler of my chart is in the 7th house. So I love consultations. I love one-on-one consultations and just helping people improve their lives in whatever way I can. And I love studying different techniques from traditional to modern to evolutionary, and even I think that Omega conference, it was an evolutionary conference where I met met you. That was such a great time. So I'm excited to be here and to talk about this upcoming New Year's Eve with you all.
Awesome. Well, welcome everybody. Thanks for introductions. I want to just say there's there's Christina here. So why can I? Because anyway, show. There you go. Hi all from RPG. Hi to you. And there is hi from Christina. Hi. Thank you guys for being here. If you have any questions during this live, please send us a message in the chat. We'll be happy to reply to all of your messages. Before we start with the New Year's Eve and everything that I had planned, I just want to give my big three. It's Gemini Sun, Gemini Moon, if you didn't notice, and Virgo Rising. Thank God for Virgo Rising. Otherwise, I would be floating in the air somewhere now. Yes. So in my head, what I wanted here, I want to have fun with my friends and talk about New Year's Eve. But before all, let's talk. What makes the best party ever? Like, what would be that constellation in the sky? What would make the biggest, funniest, most celebrated celebration ever? So who wants to start? Come on, Sage. Okay, Andre, go ahead. Please tell us what would be that thing that makes the best party ever.
Yeah, honestly, I think that it's very interesting that this time of year happens around this time, that New Year's Eve parties and stuff like that, because the sun just left Sagittarius and entered Capricorn, and you don't usually associate Capricorn with partying, but the energy that's going to be in the air, all the Sagittarius emphasis, man, big parties, big big bashes, all that sort of thing. I also do like Jupiter and Taurus. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, like I enjoy the abundance of the pleasurable, of the enjoyable, of the romantic, and all that. You know, it's kind of like a movie to me. But yeah, just a lot of Jupiter, some good old Venus in there too. Venus is gonna be, I believe she's gonna be in Sagittarius by this time. She'll just entered, so that's gonna be good too, for sure.
Yeah, sounds amazing. I don't know who of you guys wants a little bit of Neptune in the party. Do you think that makes a good party? Yeah, Hannah, go ahead. Yeah.
People be getting tipsy.
Yeah. Yeah, at least that, right? So what would you say, Hannah? What is the flavor of the best party?
I think a little bit of Pisces, a little bit of Sagittarius, maybe a bit of Libra, a bit of Taurus, kind of like Venus, Jupiter, pleasure seeking, stuff like that. And then Neptune maybe for a little bit of a escapism. But if you don't, if you don't drink alcohol, or you don't do anything like that, then you still have a good time, with music and you know, even Taurus energy, but chill. Just yeah, it depends on what you like. But I think kind of a combination of Jupiter, Venus, and Neptune is what's coming to my mind at this moment.
Awesome. Sounds very interesting. I would love that bit on that party. You know, a little bit out there, you know, just fantasizing and thinking. Catriona, what do you think? What would be the flavor of your best party?
It's an interesting question. It's so subjective because, you know, when you think about it, you're thinking, okay, the moon in Sagittarius instantly comes to me that would be a great vibe for a party, or moon in Leo. But then anytime, you know, the moon is in Sagittarius, I remember when I was younger and I was just learning astrology, astrologists were like, moon's in Sagittarius, go out, go party. Not realizing that I was of the Saturn and Sagittarius generation. Every time the moon moved into Sagittarius, I would feel this melancholy and this bleak. Be like, why am I so sad? Because the moon was going over my Saturn every month at this time. So that's why I think, you know, even though moon in Sag, I love the moon in Sag, and I love moon in Sagittarius natally in a birth chart. When the moon is in Sagittarius, it's not that much fun for me until it's gone over my Saturn, and then I've recovered, and I'm like, okay, now I'm ready. I actually look forward to the moon going into the Capricorn. How many people can say that, you know? Personally, I prefer a Leo moon for a party, but that's just me based on my own birth chart. You know what I mean?
I am biased, but without Geminis, there's no party. Sorry, guys. I mean, at least.
I'm just assuming Gemini is at the party anyway in the form of a person. Gemini's not going to be at home.
Oh, Caleb, what do you think?
It's a good question, because it's basically like, when would you elect to have an awesome party, right? So as I was thinking about it, like ideally in my mind, it would be like Jupiter in Sag, Venus in Libra, so that they're like sextiling one another. And then I actually think having Mercury empowered for a party would actually be nice too. Like, one of my favorite aspects of a good party is just great conversation with other people, especially folks I've never met before. And we look to Mercury for like great dialogue, especially in Gemini, right? Like that like convivial exchange of ideas, that meeting with the other, who, you know, somebody who provides a contrast to your experience, where you're like, oh, that's so fascinating. I've never been to your country, or I've never been to that state, or what have you, you know? And we can remember that Mercury is also like the Lord of games too. And like, I don't know about you guys, but I enjoy a good game at a party, whether it's a drinking game, a board game, or what have you. And we wouldn't have that sort of like, I don't know, squirrely, tricksy, you know, like playful energy of a game without a strong Mercury, right? I mean, setting aside the fact that on New Year's Eve, Mercury will still be retrograde, but
this year, it's going to be a little bit different.
This year, Mercury won't be in great condition that night, but we'll kind of
Jupiter
set that
station
aside for now.
Yeah. I love that party, Caleb. I would definitely go there. I'm a board game, card game kind of a person, 100%. I do feel that we need a little bit of either Venus in Cancer or Jupiter in Cancer. Just somebody needs to make the food, guys. Come on, you know, otherwise you're gonna starve. Sid, what are your thoughts?
Well, as I mentioned in the comments, it's interesting right now. There's a Venus opposition to Jupiter, and you know, those are the two planets that we tend to look for when we want to think about like good vibes, parties. But what's interesting is, to me, like a lot of you know, people have questions about this, is like, what about when they're in hard aspect like they are now, like Venus and Jupiter? But even then, they tend to bring something good. Like think over excess and like spending being spendthrift. Like that's the kind of things I think of when you get like a little bit, because you know how too much of a good thing can also turn into a bad thing. So that's what I think of when I think of I tend to look for, like, as long as Venus and Jupiter are well placed. And along with what Catriona said about how, because I also have Saturn in Sagittarius, but I have a stellium in Sagittarius. So like, once the moon passes where my Saturn degree is, I automatically start to feel better, and like I get a breath of fresh air, and then like it's interesting. Like I track whenever I have my lunar return every month, and every time even when I don't plan it, I just tend to be out somewhere like festive or fun or interesting. So I would say, Venus.
Awesome.
And then, you know, on this New Year's Eve, I think Jupiter stations direct, right?
Yeah, just the day before.
31st, yeah. So that's, I think that's something to look forward to in its own self, on its own right, I think, with this New Year's Eve.
Thanks, Sid. I'm going to pull up the chart of the New Year's Eve right now. I just want to mention one more thing. I don't want to be a party where too many Leos are, because then we have a problem. Just for you. Or Leo risings. I'm sorry, but one is enough for each party, in my opinion. Anyway, thanks, guys. That was excellent insights on what makes a good party. So, guys, watch out for those moons, and look at where your Saturn is to avoid maybe feeling depressed. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna share the chart of the New Year's Eve. So don't look at the houses. Just look at the planets, in which signs are they, and there's a grid. And as you can see, there's no air that day. So, Caleb, I think the communication, you're going to be in trouble with this party with communicating. Especially, I'm looking at Mars and Mars and Mercury together. They can be very feisty. People can get into arguments, especially in sex, proving their own right and stuff. So anyway, I don't like this lacking air, but it's immutable. It's not immutability, so I think it's going to be good. So what do you guys think? First, who's going to go first? Catriona?
Did you want to go through the signs themselves, like Aries to Pisces, or each of us to dish a hot take on what we
I'm gonna, in general, Caleb, so let's talk in general. What do you feel are the energies? How many square? We have square between Venus and Moon. We have Moon Saturn opposition. There's not easy energies for a party, let's say. So let's in general say what is good and what can be challenging for that night, and then we can go do for each rising sign. So what do you guys feel as the most challenging aspect, and what do you feel is more favorable? Who's gonna go first?
Hands down, the most challenging aspect is Mars conjunct Mercury while square Neptune, because that just looks like arguments based on fundamental misunderstandings of where the other person is coming from, or like like moments when you get like all in a rage over all in a rage with somebody over what you think is like some huge way they've disrespected you or something, and then you realize, oh no, like you had bad information or you misunderstood them or what have you, right? That's I agree. The toughest aspect in the chart.
I 100% agree. Hannah, what do you think?
Sorry, I'm also looking at another chart just because I find it hard to kind of see. But I don't know, Juno, is Juno on there? No, the asteroids aren't being included. Is Juno there? Sorry.
Yes, Juno is in Virgo. And she's, I think, opposing Neptune.
Neptune. So that's what I say. That's the piece that I kind of wanted to touch on, even following on from what you were saying there, Caleb, because those sort of disputes or disagreements or possible arguments could even come the idealism. It could even be a night where a lot of people are just sort of thinking or kind of stumbling into encounters with people, with the whole thing of midnight comes midnight and then people are kissing and all this stuff. So it could be where sparks fly, or it feels like there's a relationship there, but then the next morning you're highly, highly regretful, and you may be overthinking the entire situation. Even Mercury as well, the dispositor of Juno there, Mercury being retrograde. It could be a night where, I suppose it's like any other sort of New Year's, many regrets from certain people, perhaps particularly Virgos and Pisces and Sagittarius. So just be cautious.
And Mercury is actually station at night, because next day he's going direct, so it's very powerful. Like it's the most powerful planet that night. Catriona, what do you think?
Jasmina, sorry, I'm a small bit confused because
okay, so the good things. Okay, I'll tell you the good things. Jupiter is trining the moon, and Jupiter is trining the sun, so that's beautiful, right, for a party, especially Jupiter in Taurus. So like an earth energy. People, might just indulge food and earth stuff. I don't know. So that's kind of a good thing. And then we have Mercury is making all these hard aspects, squares, semi-squares, conjunction with Mars. Yeah, the Sun is 9, 10, depending on what. This is just general chart, but it is. This is for St. Catherine's kind of stuff. My chart for Canada, but don't look at the complete.
Yeah, no, it's the chart I passed. The Sun was at 9 degrees of Capricorn, not 18. So I just wanted to check that.
Midnight. This is midnight.
Yeah.
I put like I'm already 11:20 next midnight.
Wrong chart, so with Mercury shadow, because in my calculations I had different aspects. So I'm just going to let the others go ahead of me, and I'm just going to cast my chart again.
Okay, Andre, go ahead.
Okay.
Andre, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that. So I kind of saw the moon opposing Saturn. It might be a little bit difficult, but it's so fast moving that just I might see some emotional walls being put up, something like that, some boundaries. But going off of actually what Caleb said, the Mars Mercury conjunction, I that kind of caught my eye a little bit. The hopefully passionate conversations, but Mercury's exile being in Sagittarius, those conversations might be picking apart beliefs. They might be, they might misunderstand where one of the other is coming from, and kind of butt heads about it. But fast games of wit, perhaps that's something that I wrote down. I do enjoy a good game analysis and conversations. That'll be a good one. And all that squaring Neptune, so we might have some drinks perhaps over those conversations, or just get I like a signification of Neptune being intoxication, but not like just inebriation through alcohol, but just like just kind of getting lost in the music, just kind of doing your thing. I feel like that could be a really cool aspect of that. So.
Awesome. Yeah, cool. I'm sorry you're kind of breaking up. I hope we can hear you better next time you speak. What I found interesting is that Uranus is not aspected at all. He has an aspect with the asteroids, but not with any major planets. So that excitement is lacking. I feel that that's something something new and what you want to do, be excited about. I don't think it's going to be this New Year's Eve. I just feel that way. Sid, what do you think?
Okay, so another, I guess, thing to watch out for on New Year's that we didn't, I don't know if we mentioned yet, was that with Venus is squared to Saturn. So yeah, Venus is in Sag, which is like, super fun time, but it's approaching that square to Saturn and Pisces, which, we've felt with a few other planets that have gone through that ingress this year so far, but I would say that's something to watch out for. And yeah, with regards to that Mercury that's about to station, usually when Mercury stations retrograde, we look at the Cazimi, the point of the sun, as to like in that cycle. Like, so the first half is usually tougher than the second half, but this is unique in that this Mercury is it's going to station retrograde in Capricorn, which is very responsible kind of energy, right? Like, so right now, like this first half has a different vibe from the second half of December. And we're going to start feeling that even on the days leading up to the New Year's. But, when Mercury goes back to around 22, 23 Sag, and with that Mars there, it's going to bring some fire forward. So that all I would say is to, be cautious with that, with the fact that Venus is approaching that Saturn, and then like as we mentioned, that Mars squaring Neptune. So that's what I think about. So these are things to be wary of, but it's still, I'm still excited about Jupiter stationing direct.
When the moon in Virgo is like activating that whole square too, just by opposing Saturn and squaring Venus in that moment. And with the moon being the closest celestial body to us and generally being responsible for a day-to-day vibe, I think that is what most people probably feel. Which, like, I think on a tactile level, it's like at midnight, you turn to the stranger and ask them for a kiss, and they say no.
Sorry, Jasmina, I've recovered. I thought your chart said 18 degrees Capricorn, and I internally panicked that I had the wrong chart test. So I just wanted to add jump on that. It's difficult to see the chart. The sun is going to be an exact trine with Black Moon Lilith New Year's Eve. So Black Moon Lilith, I always associate Black Moon Lilith, mother of demons, with, you know, our inner demons. And I feel when there's a trine there between the sun in Capricorn and Black Moon Lilith in Virgo, that, you know, people need to maybe be a little bit wary that, you know, we might be confronting some demons, especially because the sun is approaching a square with Chiron 6 days later. And yes, Saturn is ruling the sun as well. So, you know, any things we do New Year's Eve, there might be some consequences to pay. And that moon in Leo, trining Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, 22 degrees. Yeah, no filter, you know, conjunct Mars, Mercury as well. This is like the aspect of a drunk, what does they say? Is it a drunk heart speaks a sober mind, or I forget the phrase, but you know what I mean. I feel like people under the influence of alcohol come out with some home truths that might not be pleasant. So just people might need to exercise moderation with what they say on New Year's Eve. There will be some heartfelt truths for sure. Moon and Leo is all about speaking from the heart. But Mars and Sagittarius, no filter.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Do you have guys any thoughts? Do you guys have any thoughts on this energies? I just feel that it's, although you have a stellium in Sag, it should be fun. Maybe. But I don't think it's going to be fun on the way we think. You know, maybe we're going to be a different type of fun.
Boring, it's not going to be boring.
I think enthusiastic is a good Sag keyword. We'll all be enthusiastic about putting 2023 behind us, but that doesn't mean that celebration will match the enthusiasm we bring to it.
Yeah, I think that would be
I agree.
Bring some awareness of how we show up and relating to people and like making connections with people, which is interesting because a lot of people are going to be going out that night. So, you know, the way we relate to people might be at the forefront of, like, you know, those interactions, obviously, and any kind of social situations.
Yeah, and I also feel like because with Jupiter going direct, then because it's at what 5 degrees, so with the retrograde, the pre-shadow period for Jupiter was back on June, up until the 4th of September there. So I feel like with the condition of Jupiter, even throughout 2023, Jupiter's the dispositor of all of that Sagittarius energy. So I feel like, yes, to speak to that point there, Caleb, you said it about like Putin, it's like almost like excited to put 2023 behind us and then move forward. So even the next day, Mercury will turn direct on the 1st. So that really is like this Jupiter's direct, Mercury's direct. It's all Sagittarius energy. Sagittarius energy is inspirational. It's like vision, it's foresight, it's inspiration, and just sort of going like, these are the things that I believe in, and these are the things that I really want to achieve. And being the visionary. So it could be that a lot of people, even on New Year's Eve, there's so much reflection. Of course, we all reflect around that time of year. It really is a great time for reflection, but I think it's going to be extra potent because of we'll mull things over to do with Jupiter turning direct based on what came up for us throughout Jupiter retrograde, from September all the way up until the new year around that time. So it'll be a really good opportunity, I think, for many people to move forward with potential sort of goals, and especially regarding our security, our finances, our skills, our talents, these types of things, because these things have been challenged quite a lot throughout 2023 with the really challenging T-square that we had, around June time with Mars and Leo and Pluto and Aquarius and stuff. So could be a good forward moving energy, I think, for a lot of people.
And I think some will just try Jupiter, right? Sorry.
No, you're good.
I was just really quick. I just wanted to say, I think the sun will just trine Jupiter, right? Like it'll be separating from a trine to Jupiter, so that'll be nice too. Some forward momentum on striving towards those goals, with those ideal images of what we might want. The reflection, the sun in Capricorn, the reflection on like looking back down memory lane. For sure, absolutely. Agreed, Hannah.
Yeah, we have actually the grand trine in Earth between Sun, Moon, and Jupiter, which will, will more practical approach to the new year is going to give us for sure, right?
I had a note about timing too. So the upcoming new moon in Sagittarius at 20 degrees of Sag happens the same day when Mercury stations retrograde at, I think it's like 8 degrees of Capricorn. I think it's interesting that day is kind of like a prelude to New Year's Eve, or is like the beginning or first chapter in a story that concludes around New Year's Eve, insofar as the new moon is like is doing the same thing that Mercury does when it stations direct, in that it's co-present with Mars and Sag, and it's squaring Neptune and Pisces. The same way when Mercury stations direct, 21 days later, it's going to be squaring Neptune and Pisces and co-present with Mars. And then the sun will be at around the same place that Mercury was when it stationed retrograde. So it's like the luminaries as well as Mercury are kind of like switching places, with there being like this handoff that happens around the winter solstice, right, when we have the Cazimi in the midpoint of the retrograde. So I think it's interesting that it's like there are mercurial problems initiated and begun and started at the same time as this new moon, and Mercury will revisit things that came up around the new moon, which I think is like this coming Tuesday. Mercury will revisit those same themes, those same events, but around New Year's, by retreading those same degrees and stationing direct where the new moon happened.
I love that, Caleb. So guys, watch for this new moon on Tuesday on the 12th or 13th, depending which part of the world you are. But so yeah, watch for the themes happening this Tuesday, Wednesday, and then you have that kind of a new year, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Do you want to add anything to this, or should we just go to see what is happening for each rising sign?
Let's move on to the rising signs.
Okay. So this is Aries. Let's say Aries. Let's start from Aries, and then we can have to improvise for each one. So Aries has Chiron in the first, Jupiter in the, and Uranus in the second, and so on. So the way we see it. So Aries moons, do you want to start, or?
Yeah, well, the moon is going to be in the 5th house for Aries rising. So I think, it's... Oh, sorry.
It's in the 6th.
Excuse me, 6th house for Aries rising. Yeah, so basically, I think... Wait, no, Aries rising as a Libra descendant, isn't it?
Yes, this is exactly how it's on the chart. I put the chart with 0 rising Aries. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm looking at this. So it's in the 6th. Yeah. So I guess it's not as maybe as social a moon when it's in the 6th house. But I still think a Leo moon is going to be in the mood. Aries rising is very action oriented, going in the mood for going out and networking. And the sun then is falling in the. Is it in the 10th house? I think is it. What sign?
Yeah. Let's look at. Yeah.
But in the 10th house wants to be seen. So yeah, I think it's a pretty social placement for Aries rising.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. What do you guys think? Anybody else? Thoughts?
The image that springs to mind with the abundance of Sag energy in, what is that? The ninth?
The
right?
9th house.
Like the desire to go somewhere else, to like be on vacation at that time, to be in another country or something like that, or take a big trip is what springs to mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. Go ahead, Andre. Go ahead.
From the 9th to the 12th house, and yeah, the pileup of the 9th, like let's go on a trip, let's go on a outer trip, a long vacation, or an inner trip perhaps. I always like to look at the inside too. And then squaring the 12th, we might have some contemplation. Hopefully not too much mental suffering, because you go out and you have a nice party. You go and socialize. And then, I'll try not to, Aries risings, try not to pile on the self-undoing too much. Make sure we're cognizant of our actions. But yeah,
they're going to think about money again.
Yeah.
They might think about money.
Pile up the night. Yeah.
Sorry,
night
guys, can I just
looks
hop
good.
in there to say that it's a Leo moon in Ireland for the New Year's Eve. So I've done all my
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes.
Leo
Yeah,
moon.
it's okay.
So that's why I'm so confused.
I need to go to
Sorry about
Ireland.
that. If everyone is wondering what I'm talking about, I just wanted
I
to
know.
clarify that. I just
Yeah.
know astrology.
I understand. Yeah, I was,
Time zones.
Katrina and Hannah,
Yeah, I
I think
would-
I'd rather celebrate in Ireland with that chart
Yeah,
with
we're going
y'all
to be
than the
having a
one we have
fun
to
time,
face.
Caleb. While you're having the Virgo moon, we're going to be having fun.
yeah, cool. See, there you go. We are happy that we could help the real black magician. Look at that. She said that she found some information helpful that from her natal chart. Yeah, yay, cool.
Yay.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, I was trying to find the universal New Year's Eve night, but it just can't because the world is round. I'm sorry for all the believers in flat Earth. I hope to disappoint you, but
Or is it?
I think you should celebrate New Year's Eve in the morning.
yeah. So this is for anyway, so overall, I think maybe you guys then in Europe are gonna have more fun than us here with the Virgo moon. What do you guys think? Anyway, what else would you say for Aries?
Yeah, so I can kind of see that with all that Sagittarius energy, even with all the signs, how that Sagittarius house for all the signs is going to be very prominent and very active because there's so much Sagittarius in that, and going on there. So that could be like a recurring theme for the signs, for following on from what you said there, Kayla, with the 9th house Sagittarius. But also Chiron's going to turn direct, I think, at the end of December as well. So that's going to be in Aries' first house. Just being honest, I don't, I like to kind of be balanced in my approach. I like to look at the good and the bad, positive, negative.
Yeah.
It could actually be quite a triggering time for many Aries folks.
Yeah.
That's actually going to be, I actually have my moon in Aries at 15 degrees. Don't mean to make it about myself, but I'm an Aries moon, so sometimes you do that. My moon's at 15 degrees. So Chiron there being at 15 degrees direct on my moon could, it's the thing about New Year's. New Year's, it can bring up a lot of really deep, heavy emotions for many people, and I feel as if Aries is going to be one of those signs whereby which there's going to be a lot of sensitivity, especially toward the identity, toward their independence, their life path, and then also with, as you rightfully said there, Andrea, with the Saturn energy there, that could even be quite a lonely. That I see Saturn in Pisces in the 12th is quite a lonely placement. So I would just want to say this to any Aries watching this, and you're maybe even feeling this, or I don't know, just know that you're not alone. Reach out if you can. And yeah, your pain, your suffering, it means something, and you should look after yourself.
Yeah, I would suggest to kind of reach out to people, not drugs and alcohol, with the Neptune in the 12th house as well. So watch out for escapism in the worst sense. So yeah. Anybody else? Sid, are you still here? Sid left. Andrea, do you have anything to add?
I was just saying something. Yeah, I would follow those same things that you just said about that. The Mars up there near the like Mars squaring the Neptune. Like, so watch out for your choices. With although there is things to rejoice. It's important to do things in moderation. Be careful because the North Node is in Aries right now, right? So
yeah.
That's all I have to say about that.
Okay, cool. So I think that's for Aries to wrap it up. I think Aries, just then watch out for everything that we said here. I think you got a lot of interesting information for Aries, rising, suns, and moons, because it's, it can be all three in that sense. Okay, then for Taurus, we're just going to switch the wheel a little bit. So the Sag Stallion moves to their 10th house, and they're going to have Jupiter and Uranus in the first house, and Moon in the 7th. So what are we... I'm going to put my glasses on to see better. What is for Taurus?
Love it.
Yes. Love it.
I'm being goofy today. What can I do? It's a New Year's Eve, early one for us astrologers.
Well, there's good things to look forward to with them, right? With the April, the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction coming up. So something exciting to look forward to for, I would say, for Taurus risings.
They should have fun. They should be out there. They should be the main people on the stage. I feel the Tauruses with Sag Stellium in their 10th and with Jupiter and Uranus in the first. They're gonna feel that they want to, just do something different and be there out there. That's how I feel. Maybe they're gonna be the stars of the party for a change. Huh? What do you guys think?
Yeah, because the North Node's in their 12th, right? So,
right?
I'm just saying that maybe they'll be the ones going crazy for like the ones that aren't usually crazy.
So what does a crazy Taurus look like at a party? What do you think? Whipped cream for everybody! Woo!
Lots of good food at their parties. Go to the Taurus host party, right?
Yeah, reflecting on my two friends who have like a gazillion planets in Taurus, they are the people I know who are really big into collecting really nice things, whether it's like a huge comic book collection, or like one of them who's like big into video games and he's got a gazillion consoles. And I think of like a party he threw where it was just like, yeah, there's like 4 different types of games going. There's snacks in the kitchen. There's my other Taurus heavy friend who like was really into big into making like gourmet kombuchas. Be like, oh, do you want to try this one? It's like cow flavored, like, just an abundance of sensual delights, really. I think Taurus rising, I think they would make a great host, if anything.
Yes.
For New Year's Eve this year. They should be the ones welcoming us into their homes.
I like that feeling. Yeah, because the sun is going to be in the 11th house of friendships and partying, and I love that, and networking. Yeah. The creator says alcohol fueled fights. LOL.
Don't do that.
Sounds about right.
Anybody else on Taurus?
Yeah, I did want to point out that the Sagittarius Pisces squares is happening in Taurus risings, 8th and 11th house axis sort of deal. So the 8th house, is about entanglements and enmeshments and stuff, and bondages and debts that we might have. So I feel like some might have those kinds of experiences where they might have to let go of something. They might experience the disillusion of something. But then, that's kind of intermeshed with the 11th house of friends and allies and benefactors and sages and understanding and blessings and gifts. So Taurus rising also, I would say, just watch out for yourself. Just be cognizant of those sorts of 8th house themes and have fun with your friends. Go out and have a really big blowout too, because all things in moderation, but we also all deserve to have fun for sure.
Yeah,
I have to excuse myself. I said it wrong. The Sag Stellium is going to be their 8th house, right? Sorry, not the 10th. I apologize. I moved it the wrong direction. See, that's why I had to put my glasses. Now I see better.
Oh my God, I was like, I'm so confused. I was like, what's going on?
Look, my brain goes.
I can't see the screen. I don't know what's happening.
My Gemini brains is scattered, so you have to pull me. You have to put me down to earth, guys. That's why I have to.
So on point, Jasmina. I was like, it's Mercury, the shadow. That's what it is.
Yeah, that could be as well.
Oh,
yeah. And go, Catriona, go ahead. Or Hannah.
Oh, sorry, Hannah. Do you want to jump on that?
No, it's okay. You go ahead. I thought I must have interrupted you, Catriona.
No, not at all. So the Sag Stellium is in the 8th house. We're all
yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sorry.
Yes.
I was like, I need to go back and learn. Wait, Sag Stellium in the 8th house for me really speaks of like heartfelt, heart-to-heart talks. Opening up to people, being really authentic. Burying your soul. I think it will be a lovely evening for that, if you're in the mood for it. But it's all about intimacy, being with people you really trust, because, you can feel quite isolated if you're in a superficial group on the night of New Year's Eve when there's a Sag Stellium in your 8th house. So my advice would be, be with your nearest and dearest, be with people that you can be your real self with, so that you can take full advantage of this energy.
Lovely. Hannah?
I love that. Yeah, with the vulnerability, I love that. Yeah, it even, I suppose, just to build on from what you were saying there, Catriona, from my point, maybe there will be Taurus folks who think to themselves, you know what, maybe I want to take myself to go for therapy. Maybe that is like a New Year's resolution. Around New Year's we all make resolutions, don't we? Which a lot of us feel at. A lot of people are in the gym first week and then they are not in the gym after 1 week. But maybe, yeah, for Taurus folks, it'll be about perhaps many revelations coming up to the surface, truth coming to light with that 8th house energy. And they kind of think, you know what, I might go and seek some type of further support, further help, which could be quite beneficial for Taurus in the long run.
Nice.
Yeah, cool. Nice. Andres, do you want to add anything for Taurus people? Sid, do you want to add anything? No. Okay. Cool. So let's go to Gemini. So Geminis will have the Jupiter and Uranus in the 12th, and they're going to move. So everything's going to be in their 7th house, the Sag Stallion, right? It's going to be the 7th.
Yeah, we got
And
heavy mutable planets in this chart. So suddenly everything shifts to their angles, their 1st, 10th, 4th, and 7th.
Yes. So what do you guys think? How is my New Year's Eve going to look like? I have a 3-year-old, so it's going to probably not going to be fun, but think about it. Tell me. It's going to be a one-on-one. It's probably going to be something intimate, I would say, for Geminis, maybe.
Yeah, because also that new moon cycle in the 7th house. So I think maybe a start of a new relationship potentially, something like that.
Yeah, a new partnership, just a way of coming together, some sort of that. Yeah, for sure. Agreed.
Yeah, so they should have like a romantic dinner with somebody, not to go to a party. That would be a suggestion for Gemini this year. Sorry, guys, no party for you.
The moon and Virgo is going to be in their 4th house, so they might feel called to, which is unlike Gemini, stay in but have friends over and party at home is my advice. Use that Virgo moon to prepare some nice little, I don't know what you call it. Oh, my brain is Mercury shadow, but those little small things that you give out at parties.
Hors d'oeuvres.
Finger food. Finger food. Yes.
Virgo. And then with that stuff in their 7th house, Mars is there, isn't it, in their 7th house? Yeah, it's the make love not war aspect, I call it. Definitely with your partner, but the right kind of activity, or else it can lead to arguments.
Yeah. I love that advice, Catriona. You nailed it.
New Year's Day run. Let's keep it nice and wholesome now for you two.
So where is Saturn? Saturn is going to be where for them? In the 10th, right? Yeah. So that definitely.
A leaden weight. It's like a leaden weight sitting at the top of the chart, and that was immediately what sprung to mind for Gemini to me. Is like, oh man, they've since March dealt with what feels like a crushing amount of pressure coming from the top, right? Whether that's like difficulties with your boss or the demands of work, or like, gaining a bigger reputation, but that it also coming with just like a lot of grind, like Saturn really demands that you work on his time scale, which means like chipping away at something, but consistently, right? To get the Saturn rewards. So I think like New Year's Eve with the abundance of planets in Sag, it's like, I don't want to work anymore. Like I want to have fun, connect, relate, and hang out with my SO, right? And I think piggybacking off Catriona, having like the moon in the 4th, it really is suggestive of staying in.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, Saturn is squaring my moon and Mercury whole year, and it's it's going to be there as well. Yeah, my natal. So I'm feeling the Saturn, and then it's going to square my Sun because I have this Gemini stellium. So I have to leave it with Saturn for the next 2.5 years. I can't wait for everything to move to Aries, Neptune and Saturn, and everybody just go to Aries and leave me alone. But anyway, yeah, so it's going to be more intimate for Geminis. Sid, Andrea, do you have anything to add?
Yeah. Just go ahead, Sid.
Go ahead. I don't really.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, going off what Caleb said, the 10th house kind of the being asked to step up and show responsibility in some way, in the career, the vocation, the calling. So I feel like Gemini risings might be dealing with that at that time, and especially with the the interplay of personal intimate connection and then how we show up in our career. I feel like that'll be kind of emphasized there. So have a drink about it, maybe escape a little bit, be healthy about it, and I would also stay home and party if you want to. You can do whatever you want, because Gemini risings are just gonna go out and like talk to whoever they can anyway. So
yeah, I like it less and less. Now we're gonna have healthy appetizers, not even Virgo moon. We're gonna have like some kind of quinoa and spinach. Come on, guys. I'm gonna see. I'm seeing where it's going. I'm seeing where this is going. Sid, what did you want to say?
Oh, I didn't have anything else to say about Gemini. I did have something to say about Cancer risings. So,
okay, then you can start the Cancer then, please.
Okay, well, I find that this Mercury retrograde cycle is interesting for Cancer risings because it's going to go back to their 6th house. And so, with Cancer, you think of sacrifice in a sense, right? So like 6th house, the good thing about 6th house is if you can think of some outlet to sacrifice yourself into and in order to get some gains from that. And so that's something that I would think about with regards to the 6th house, 9th house being touched with the Cancer risings. So that's what I wanted to say about that.
Okay, cool. I like it. I like that they're gonna
go into their hard work and like sacrifice for something greater to come about. But I guess that's generally speaking with regards to the lunation cycle. But I guess you guys can add to that. Like, what do you guys think about that? Like, do you agree or disagree? Let's see.
Who's next?
Cancer rising, finding something to. I'm just Cancer in general, finding something to nourish and comfort and make them to feel secure. That 6th house dynamic of the sacrifice and hopefully not dipping into martyrdom, like the negative kind of martyrdom, but just the great work of starting something, perhaps connected to a religion or a philosophy because of the 9th house being squared too.
Yeah. I also feel as if with so much of that energy in the 6th house, it could be many Cancerians are having to work over New Year's. Unfortunately, many people do have to work over New Year's. But maybe as well because their chart ruler, the moon, is going to be in the 3rd house. So the trinity of relationships is going to be activated for them. So the 3rd, 7th, and the 11th. So that could actually be a good opportunity for Cancerians to talk more about their feelings. The only thing about that, I suppose, is the compartmentalization, the intellectualization with Moon and Virgo. I know Catriona was saying about Moon and Leo, so it's different for us. It's different for us, but if we're just going off Moon and Virgo, just for this, to keep it more simple. I feel as if it could be a good opportunity to have those discussions and in practical ways. It's about practical communication, maybe as a way to come up with some good solutions to certain problems, or maybe it's a good opportunity to reconnect or to communicate within friendship groups, and with Jupiter's turning direct in the 11th house for Cancerians, and who knows, some a new bond could be started with that Sun energy being in their 7th. It could be a good opportunity for them to relate and connect in a way whereby which could even be a bond for a long term, lifelong friendship, for instance.
I was just thinking, kind of, when you mentioned that many of them are going to work, I'm thinking Cancer risings and Cancers are, a lot of people are social workers or doctors or nurses, with Cancerian placement. So they unfortunately have to work for New Year's Eve. And so maybe this year it won't be as hard as other years to actually work on that day for them. I feel maybe they're going to take it, if they have a night shift, okay, it is what it is. I think they're going to maybe have a lighter approach to it.
Yeah, and I see that Ceres is also in Sagittarius. Am I correct in saying that? I can squinting at the chart. But Ceres in Sagittarius is
Yes, 15 degrees. Yes, 15
yeah,
degrees.
it's all about being nurtured by education, by learning, by philosophy. And like with Ceres falling in their sixth house, adopting like a new health regimen, learning about for their health, getting a new, opening up that book they got in their Christmas stocking, all about maybe a new cookbook or something. It could be something as basic as that. Ceres, I associate Ceres with cooking as well. So those kind of themes, health themes, and educating themselves around their health could be coming up for Cancer risings. And yeah, with the moon in Virgo, a strong urge to communicate and to network maybe. But like Hannah said, it's that Virgo. It's moving from Leo, which is so expressive, to Virgo, which is a bit more analytical, and can be, if not used correctly, can be quite like there's that harsh inner voice with the Virgo moon. So it's all about being more service oriented on New Year's Eve for Cancer rising, putting the energy out rather than in. I feel.
Yeah.
Maybe they should just, if they don't work, they should just sleep to get energy. So don't even, just go to bed early, Cancers. So rising, sorry guys. To restore your energy and think about your health. That's what we suggest. Caleb, do you have any thoughts?
Not particularly. Initially, I was going to say something about celebrating getting Pluto out of their 7th house, but then I remembered that we're still going to have another little spin of Pluto and Cap next year, so they can save that celebration until New Year's 2025.
Okay. Okay, then Caleb, do you want to find a Leo?
All cardinal signs will be like, yay!
Yeah, can't wait.
I know. Caleb, do you want to start with the Leo risings then?
Sure. Yeah. I think what stands out for Leo rising is just the fact that all the Sag planets then fall into the 5th. And who doesn't love having Venus in the 5th, the house where she rejoices? Like, we talk about having a quote unquote good time, right? And I think we generally look for Venus to do that. The 5th house is where we enjoy ourselves, where we, create things, but also just relish pleasurable things that fall into our lap, at sometimes just through sheer good luck. So yeah, I guess the fact that then though is tangling with the Pisces planets, which would be in the 8th, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know exactly what to make of that conflict. I don't know if anybody else wants to jump in and delineate how that may appear.
I would say have a great time.
Referring to the moon opposite Saturn. Sorry, Andrew, go ahead.
I was just gonna say have a great time and experience pleasure, but don't get yourself into any entanglements now. Make sure you're cognizant of others' resources, emotional or physical. Enjoy yourself, but don't get enmeshed and entangled. If you,
it's Leo, right? Then
I was saying it's interesting you said make sure of other people's resources because Neptune is going to be on the 8th, right? With that, so it's just interesting that I love how you incorporated that into that statement. So yeah, excellent. When you said have fun but be aware of other people's resources and stuff. So just wanted to comment on that. Sorry.
So don't have fun with other people's money. That's what you're saying. So if you don't have enough money to party, don't expect people to buy you drinks. That's basically it. Yeah, so don't go. Can you buy me a drink kind of thing? That's not for you this time. This New Year.
With that Virgo moon, transiting through their 2nd house and forming an opposition at some point with Saturn and Pisces, definitely there's possibly going to be issues of self-worth coming up as well, with Saturn opposing that moon. Self-esteem, things might just come up. The moon,
I'm thinking, Catriona, that's a good point. They're going to feel like, am I worthy of somebody to buy me a drink? Come on. I'm sorry. I'm taking this too much fun. I'm having too much fun with you guys. Go ahead.
Yeah, but how they feel about themselves that night could fluctuate. I always feel, the moon is not stagnant. It's up and down energy. And when, it's going through your second house of self-worth, yes, and it is your own resources too. Yeah. And it could be like don't impulse buying. I wouldn't go buying anything New Year's Eve sale with moon opposite Saturn and Neptune. Yeah.
So
If
I should,
anything,
yeah.
having Saturn and Neptune in the 8th feels very much like give things away energy, to like box up everything you don't want and take it to the Goodwill store, or like offer it up on the free page of Craigslist or whatever, you know what I mean? Especially with like Saturn in that first Saturn ruled decan of Pisces, kind of speaking so much to like sacrifice and the things we must lay down, if to like embark on journeys of self-discovery, like I don't know, it's like the decan that corresponds to the eighth of cups tarot card, which is like somebody like setting things aside and then embarking on a journey. Usually speaks of like isolation and retreat, and I don't know, to me that's like, yeah, exactly, forsaking what you know, setting things aside, maybe giving them away, sacrificing worldviews or beliefs that haven't served you to find something else, right? To go on a spirit quest, spirit journey of sorts,
Beautiful.
Wow, Caleb, that is so nice, so poetic. I love it. Come on, Leos. It's time to pick it up and give it away. Give your shyness, share your shyness and brightness with the world. I love that.
Yeah, I also think that, like, it's been kind of tough for fixed signs over the past, when we had those nodes in Scorpio, Taurus, and all these other things. So they can finally kind of, I love that it's the 5th house that's emphasized here, and like just more fun and joy and creativity and letting go, and just letting go of those old, like, kind of harsh energies a little bit. I really do like this overall for Leos, this New Year's Eve. Weird.
I think we've also failed to mention that Jupiter is stationing direct in the 10th, which is pretty.
Oh, perfect. Yeah,
here
we go.
Another aspect as well. Like I think all of us could think of Jupiter stationing direct as an excellent time to meditate on like personal growth goals that we have, especially when the sun is trying to it. But if it's in your 10th and directly connected to your career, your reputation, and the work you do in the world, that's like a pretty, I don't know, standout. And the fact that there's mutual reception as well between Jupiter and Venus at this time. Yeah, I don't know. I think Jupiter, Leo might have like the best setup here of all the signs we've chatted about so far.
Wow, Leos, yeah, there you go. You can shine, but also don't forget to share with others. So there's like a little a twist. It's your time, it's your party.
In their 6th house as well, so work is definitely going to be a theme for them.
Awesome.
The sun in the 6th house.
Awesome. Yeah, cool. Catriona, do you want to start with Virgo risings and Virgo suns and moons?
Yes. So Virgo rising, we have the moon falling in their 1st house. We have the stellium in their 4th house.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, and then I'm just looking at Saturn in their 7th house at the moment. Yeah. So I mean, I think with the stellium falling in their 4th house, I always feel the 4th house, yeah, it's home and family, but it is also your innermost self, who you are at your core, your most private part of yourself. So there's a lot going on internally, I would say, for Virgo rising on New Year's Eve. Sorry, Jasmina. Did I hear someone else say they were rising? I think there's a lot of
me. Yeah.
Are you as well, Hannah? Yeah, so a lot going on internally. And I feel with Ceres and Sagittarius, it'll be so important to nurture yourself and give yourself that self-care if you're a Virgo rising on New Year's Eve, because the 4th house is a very sensitive place, for this stellium to fall. And then we have the sun in Capricorn falling in the 5th house. So Capricorn, there is this expectation that you're going to be out there and maybe, making this effort to show up. But I feel like, Virgo risings can make their excuses and leave the party early if they don't feel like shining and being like a Leo, on New Year's Eve, because they have a lot going on internally. and with the moon in their first house, again, moon in Virgo, not easy. And then the day before, the Leo moon is transiting or the hours before, Leo moon is transiting their house. So again, moon in the 12th house is not an easy placement either, so I just feel that Virgo rising is going to be a sensitive, tender New Year's Eve for Virgo risings. That is, that's my own feelings on it. But maybe I can be a bit of a Debbie Downer. I have Mercury square Pluto. I tend to see all the bad things. I'm sure somebody else can shed some sunshine on this chart.
Well, I like, okay, the good thing is that we have Jupiter, let's say, trining, and Uranus trining this Virgo, and then we have Pluto trining Virgo. If you look just by sign, right?
And I guess Jupiter is just stationing direct, and I always feel like Jupiter is like a car when it stations direct. It has to warm up, so we need to give it a bit of time before those few days in the after New Year's Eve will be kind of pivotal for, I guess, for Virgo risings, and I just feel the energy will lift and things will get a bit easier after the first week passed, when the square with the Chiron and the Sun has passed. Definitely things will be easier for the collective. So yeah, that's my take on Virgo rising, if anybody wants to riff on that.
Nice. Yeah.
I think the fact that Mercury is stationing direct the next day in their third, and it's the ruler of their ascendant, and like Mercury retrograde in the third problems to me are like your computer gets a virus, or you have issues with your computer, or your commute is disrupted because there's construction, or you have car problems, right? Something goes wrong in daily life, and with Mars there's some sort of sense of like vexation or frustration, but like remembering that is like what's happening on like the day-to-day level, but that there are other things happening. For instance, where's the Jupiter station happening? In the 9th in their chart, right?
Yeah,
which I don't know, feels like starting okay, maybe there's frustrations on like the day-to-day level, or issues in some aspect of education or communication or something like that. But Jupiter in the 9th to me is like, I don't know, going back to school or starting like a new grad program, or I don't know, setting plans for a big trip that will take place sometime next year or something like that,
Okay, so I hear you, Caleb. So Hannah, the two of us, we can just go and find a new course online, and in the midnight, and happy new to your new course. But we can just book of a dream about our vacation for next year. That's it. I hear you, no problem. Okay, I'm gonna learn astrology on yours, which probably will.
Yeah, sounds fun to me. Yeah, I agree with that. I do agree with that. I think that could very well be for Virgos. And then I just think as well, worldviews, perspective shifts. With Jupiter turning direct in the 9th house, but then also with the moon, there's also Black Moon Lilith there along with the moon in the first house. So I think with the first house, it often looks at our life path, looks at our direction, our physical appearance, our identity. So that in combination with the trine to Jupiter in the 9th, and then also with the Earth trine, I suppose, as well, then with the 5th house. So the Trinity of Spirit is activated there. So I think in combination, I think a lot of Virgos, whilst there's a lot of that kind of, as you were rightfully saying there, Catriona, with you said it so well with the emotional piece and the sensitivity, and looking after your emotional body in that way. I think in combination with that, there's a lot of there's big identity shifts for many Virgos coming into 2024, and it's really like a renewal. I also think of Black Moon Lilith as a type of transformation within itself, because it's like liberation. It's setting yourself free from certain bonds. That can feel like you're chained to certain things. So with that, it can be difficult, but I think that there could be a good sense of like renewal, and almost like lifting your spirit up, freeing your spirit coming into 2024 for Virgos.
Wow. Yeah. I'm speechless. This is very nice. Yeah. I'm just reflecting on what my Virgo rising. What am I? Okay, Sid, Andre, can you add something for Virgos?
I basically just had written down for Virgos. It's quite common for people to be dealing with issues in their relationships that stem from their families of origin. So, you know, kind of that fourth house theme, and it can also include children, just family stuff. That's all I had to contribute to that.
I like it.
Yeah, good point.
So spending the New Year's with your grandparents is an option for Virgos. Okay, got it. Okay, better and better. Andre.
Yeah, I really took note that Virgo would be. I'm sorry, that the moon would be in the first house for Virgo rising, trined by Jupiter and the sun. I mean, loosely by the sun, but it's going to be a nice like grand Earth trine at that point in time. So a lot of expansive inner reflection, perhaps, for Virgo rising. I feel like it's going to be a really reflective, introspective time. Aside from the 4th, 7th house dynamic, the ancestry, the parents, you know, you're reflecting on your roots and your foundation, and then seeing how that might, like Sid said, affect your relationships and how you relate with people and just the other in general. I do like the trine from the 5th to the 9th for that just happened in Virgo's chart, the rising chart, from the sun and Jupiter. So hopefully you get some romance in there, a little bit of smooches in there.
Yay!
Yay!
Virgos need all the love.
Yeah.
There's a light at the end of the tunnel. I love that. I like a great closing for this Virgos. Okay, Libras. I'm going to have Caleb do it because I know that Andrew, you have Libras, but I think Caleb has a little bit. He wins on a Libra side, just a little bit. How many planets do you have in Libra, Caleb?
I got 3, and it's my rising sign.
There you go.
I have 3 planets in Libra too. That's dope.
So what's going to happen for you?
What is going to happen for me? It's interesting. I don't have any plans yet that night, so we'll see what happens. I know I'm going to be stuck in home with my child beyond what we're doing. You know, besides like probably playing Legos. I'm not really sure. For other Libra risings who do not have parental responsibilities, I don't know. I realized that I misspoke when I was talking about Virgo risings because I was thinking the Mercury retrograde is.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
It's falling in my 3rd, so I was just like,
yeah, exactly,
thinking in a Libra centric way at that in that moment, admittedly. So yeah, like I think personally, like as a Libra rising, it's been weird having Saturn move out of the 5th to the 6th, like into a dark house, which doesn't aspect the 1st. And I don't know what everybody else's experience was of Saturn moving from Aquarius into Pisces, but I felt like the Saturn energy just disappeared. Like I looked around and it was like, where did Saturn go? You know, like, and then it came back up and it was like, oh, I see. It just like it changed forms or changed shape. So what I've been thinking with respect to like, okay, Sag in the 3rd, and then also Saturn in the 6th, having that malefic square happening. It's I don't know. It's frankly not like energy I'm fond of, right? Like having a malefic square is often like kind of like demands placed upon you and kind of working under pressure. But I'm hoping that like having Venus move in at that time, having Mercury station direct, there's some kind of turnaround or resolution or new ideas that spring to mind. Like having Venus, one thought that occurs is like for everybody, having Venus walk into the house where Mercury and Mars have been making a mess to sort of like pick up the pieces or reunify that which has been separated or severed by Mars. I think at this time for all signs is like a good hallmark or good transit in that it's like Venus can put back together the pieces of that which has been rendered. And for like Libra risings, like that's our rising sign ruler, right? So I think that's significant.
Yeah, it's going to be so the stellium is going to be in the 3rd house, correct? Right, for Libra rising.
Yeah.
So it
Which
is
I
about
think,
maybe
like, don't in the sense like don't go out, because Mars in the third to me is so much about like your commute. Like I once got hit by a car and I cast the chart for it like years later, and I was like, oh, like I was biking while I had Mars in my third, and there was like I think a Mars or Saturn opposition or something like that, and I was like, oh, okay, I see what happened there, you know. But yeah, I don't know. Sid, you said you're Libra rising too, right?
Yes, I am. Yeah, I feel and also with you know, that Mars is going to be squaring the Neptune in the sixth too, right? So further more to what you were saying there, I did notice a difference also with regards to Saturn moving into Pisces. It wasn't necessarily a bad one, but like I did notice that I got more clients, and I was immersed into my work a little more. So it flowed well so far for me, and it's been good. Yeah, I think it's interesting that with the Mercury retrograde, it goes back from the fourth, which is like home, family. So what we were talking about with Virgo risings to our immediate environment, right? The third house is our immediate environment. So I do feel like something big coming there with regards to that new moon, which is a few degrees away from where that Mercury retrogrades back to. And you know, with us Libras, we're always concerned about the environment and well, our community giving, like Libras give back a lot, kind of. So I feel like this, I do see some positivity coming in that realm also, while keeping in mind that everything that you just mentioned, which I totally agree with. So
awesome. Yeah. So I want to just reflect on what Caleb said about not commuting. So because the stellium is in the third house, just go to your neighbors downstairs or upstairs next door. That's it. No commute. You just walk, and then it's perfect. That's party for you. You don't have to. You know, it's excellent. Emphasizing the third house, right? Cool.
Yeah, the sun is in their fourth house as well. So I mean, it makes sense, really. Stay at home. Light your Christmas tree, light some candles.
Yeah, or go to your neighbor's house. You know, as long as you walk and don't use bicycles, cars, or any other transportations, you know.
Libra rising, house party vibes.
Yeah, and also like moon in the 12th at that time, like which to me is like when the moon's in my 12th, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna stay home, I'm gonna do the dishes, and I'm gonna journal.
That is a really healthy moon in the 12th house transit. The exercise you're doing.
I've got my son there. I've got my son there too, so it's like I just lead a 12th house life, you know.
So yeah, like moon in the 12th house. Sorry, I jumped.
No, I was going to say that the 12th house life he's gonna sleep. That's what it is. You have to be what is the 12th house? Sleeping, hiding nowhere under the blanket. You know, cover yourself up, and that's it.
I know my daughter will wake me up at 6 the next day, so I'm not staying up till midnight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like the moon is going to be in Leo earlier in the day. You know, if you're a Libra rising in Ireland, the moon is going to be in your 11th house. So get out there and party. But then go home. Get home before it moves over to Virgo. Don't go to the house party. Leave home. So, and then, you know, if you're stateside, you've got that Virgo moon. So maybe like do your socializing earlier in the day, because Virgo moon transiting through the 12th house is not an ideal place for the moon to be for alcohol consumption. Or just drink responsibly if you are going out.
I love that. Okay, cool. So I think we finished the Libras. I just want to introduce the Scorpio rising and Scorpios in general. Do you guys think they're going to count the money on New Year's Eve, how much they made? What's going to happen with all the stellium in the second house? And making plans for budgets for next year? You know, thinking about the, you know, what do you guys think?
Yeah, they'll definitely be taking stock of their resources.
Moment.
Go ahead.
Isn't she for New Year's Eve? Sorry, Andre. Pallas Athena is there, so they're probably being very strategic, the Scorpios.
Yeah, they'll definitely be taking stock of their resources and their assets and their wealth, be it physical wealth or just skills. They might be taking on a new skill at that time because of the pile up of planets in their second house. and then they've got the that square to the 5th house. So yeah, some counting some money, getting some smooches, going to some parties, and then with the Sun Jupiter Moon trine, like grand trine happening the 3rd, 7th, and 11th. So socialization is there for me to Sun transiting through the 3rd, might get a message, might be met with a messenger, or you might be a messenger of something. Yeah.
Do you guys, Andrew, now you reminded me, do you think they're going to spill some secrets, Scorpios, this New Year's Eve or not? Or is it too much to ask from them? Or are they going to spill some secrets? Because they're going to network and socialize.
I think that's what they were doing when the South Node was in their first house.
Okay, so they're done. Okay.
Now it's tight-lipped again,
Yeah,
you know?
They'll go to the
Can we
party,
talk
but they'll just
about
be
Saturn in the
weird
5th for them, though? Because Saturn in the 5th to me is, I had a friend once jokingly call it the no fun aspect, because Saturn negates things, and the 5th is, where you have fun. But I don't think it's so much that, so much as serious fun, taking fun very seriously, you know what I mean? Or being like the container for fun to happen within. For instance, I have Saturn in the 5th natally, and I love fantasy RPG games like Dungeons and Dragons, but I very rarely am the player and am nearly always the DM, the game master, the dungeon master, or whatever. I create the structure, the place within which the fun can happen. So I think like for Scorpio, like engineering the event, engineering the social thing to occur, creating the space, the environment for it, helping with the logistics, seems apropos for Scorpio.
That is such an accurate description of controlled fun. Such a Saturnian thing in the 5th house. I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hannah said, do you want to add something to this Scorpio people?
No, but I was just, stuck on what he was saying about Saturn in the 5th, because I remember when I had looked up some charts of some people that are like, even like athletic events, I remember when Saturn was transiting my 5th, I had like this Xbox tournament that I went to, and it's like focusing your goals on something in the 5th house realm, and it can be fruitful for that. So it was a Madden tournament, yeah. So
Giving structure.
I love it. Structured fun. Okay, I have to think about it, but okay.
I have a Capricorn stellium in the 5th, and I relate to. I feel like with my hobbies and my creative projects, I'm always working on them. But yeah, I think that Saturn piece for Scorpio energy, Scorpios, that could be quite useful for them in terms of maybe just focusing on their hobbies, on their craft, and then even in combination with all that Sagittarius 2nd house energy. 2nd house can look at our skills and our talents too.
Yeah.
So, maybe many Scorpios will have these sort of plans about, these are the skills that I want to kind of work on this year, or this is something I want to explore, want to try something new. And then at the same time, perhaps we're saying about Jupiter direct in Scorpios in the 7th house. So I feel like that could even be a bit like a greater sense of optimism or hope or positivity when it comes to relationships. Maybe because you were talking about like secrets and stuff, maybe because they get some sort of answer, or because they receive further information that they maybe didn't know before. So they can move forward with that information and maybe use it to their benefit in practical ways.
Insider information for making money. That's what I see for them. They're gonna be like, that's what it is. Yes. Follow your Scorpios around and just copy what they're doing. When they invest, you invest. God, tell you guys, they're having it. Yeah.
Uranus is also in Scorpio's 7th house at the moment, and it's going to be opposed by Pallas Athena, on New Year's Eve. 2 degree R, but it's approaching a tight, or no, it's just gone past it. Is it actually? Yeah, no, it's approaching.
It's approaching.
Pallas Athena, like pay attention, I would say, Scorpio risings, to any like sudden flashes of insight you get about, you know, your relationships around this time, because she is the goddess of wisdom, you know, and being strategic. So, you know, you're going to be shown something if you're paying attention.
I love that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. I think that wraps up for Scorpios, unless anybody has anything to say. I think we covered it all. And now the big Sag, the whole stellium is in their first house, and Sag risings and Sag moons. Come on, guys. This is it. The moment we were waiting for.
It's time to be extra. Not that we're ever extra. Sag stellium in the first house. You know, I mean, I'm thinking really, you know, I'm actually not too focused on that because I'm the Saturn and Sagittarius generation. I don't take my Sag energy maybe as seriously, or, you know, I wouldn't say I'm like this authentic Sag stellium. I also have a Sag stellium like Sid has, I'm sure most of us do, of that generation. So I think Saturn kind of keeps us in our box a little bit. The sun is going to be falling in our second house. So again, like, we're going to be thinking about our bag. We're going to be thinking about fame, our money, self-worth. And Chiron is transiting through our fifth house at the moment. And there, you know, there's an approaching square with Chiron and the sun in Capricorn. So I feel like childhood wounds are coming up for all Sag risings, you know, wounds around self-worth, maybe wounds around our creativity. Uranus in our sixth house, so we need to look after our health. Yeah, and like, I have been thinking, I didn't even look at the transits for New Year's Eve, and I was thinking, New Year's Eve, you know, I think I might go away. And like how typical of a Sag rising. I was like, the transits today, Moon and Leo in my ninth house. I was like, oh, of course I'm gonna go away. But then, like, Moon and Virgo in the 10th house, the following day, I'm going to be back to work. It's going to be like work. So yeah, I think it's going to be different, obviously, depending on your time zone. But those are the general vibes that I'm getting for this New Year's Eve for Sagittarius.
Yeah, I like that. I have an anecdote I want to share. I think Frank Clifford, the astrologer, he was telling that he had a course, and there was this Sag guy, and, you know, and he goes, oh, you're finally here, you know, like, oh, it's so nice to see you. How come you're not traveling? And he goes, we never saw him again. So that's that vibe I'm getting, you know. If you just tell them, what are you doing here? They're going to just, oh yeah, what am I doing here? I love that. So you're going to, for Sag travel, I think, yeah, that's a good idea. What do you guys think?
Sag is always traveling, and so it's always a good idea for them, for sure. What got me for Sagittarius rising for this in particular was so for all the mutable signs, actually, their anchors, their stakes of the first, fourth, seventh, and 10th are going to be talking to each other. Well, at least not. Let me see. Hang on. Did I do this right? Okay, so Sagittarius in general. So Moon's going to be in the 10th house. So yeah, that work, that vocation. But then the square from Sagittarius in the first, so like they're gonna be, I feel like they're gonna be deeply analyzing, they're gonna be engaging in some probing analysis of their own selves because of the Mercury and Mars conjunction, and then Venus coming in there will hopefully smooth that all out. So that's gonna be, they're gonna be looking at relation of themselves perhaps to their family or to their roots or their ancestry, because of Saturn being in the fourth house and Neptune doing its thing there too. So yeah, I feel like that'll be a really big theme for Sagittarius. It's going to be in the second house, so yeah, bag again. And
I feel a lot of self-confidence with Sages for this New Year's Eve. I think they're going to be really, really self-confident and, you know, like, no, fearless. I think, you know, they're going to have this combination of the full first house with all these planets, you know, combination, like, very feisty, fiery. Just don't get into arguments, Sag, please. Take a drink. Every time you feel I want to say something, you know, something blunt.
Yeah, but you forget about the argument after 5 minutes anyway. So I mean,
take selfies instead. You know, there's Venus in the first. Take some selfies instead.
Yeah. Moon's gonna be setting off that grand Earth trine. So it's gonna be it's gonna be really nice for Sagittarius. Hopefully.
Yeah, very nice.
We hopefully get some resources to go away on that trip.
Yeah. And I know that Venus is squaring Saturn that day, but it's maybe with the Mars energy as well. Sagittarians can often be impulsive, especially with being in the first house there. So maybe just be cautious of being impulsive, or, Sagittarius has a tendency of last minute spontaneous plans without follow through or thinking things through. Maybe that Saturn or Mars square Neptune can give into that kind of wishful thinking or a little bit of delusionment there. And then just reflecting even on a kind of personal experience with this, one of my best friends, she has a Sagittarius rising, and she's actually a flight attendant, so who knows, she could very well be up in the sky during New Year's Eve, and then there's that moon energy in the 10th that could maybe point towards that, and then Jupiter as well in the 6th. So again, this could be another placement or another sign, where there's some working involved, but of course that work also has to involve travel.
Love that. Catriona, please do not go hiking on New Year's Eve. I know you love hiking. I would recommend with this Mars in the first house and everything, please.
I can't make any promises. I am a Sagittarius rising. Promises. I make promises in a rash.
Okay. Sid, you have a Sag? You have a Sag thing. What do you say?
Yeah, I was just going to say, don't forget about the Saturn and the, in Indian astrology, the 4th house is the house of moksha, which means liberation. Neptune in the 4th squaring these planets, people could be going to real extremes around the need for freedom, whether it's drugs or excessiveness, the desire to just be free, right? Like, because right now I feel like this month is a month for reinvention with regards to Sagittarius. So just be aware of what kinds of habits we say yes to that might feel free, but are maybe subtly imprisoning us over time. Sorry, not to be a Debbie Downer here. That's not the Sag way, but Saturn is in Pisces right now, right? And so yeah, I just wanted that.
Cool, awesome.
We were all having fun, and then I said that, and then everyone just got really fun.
No, it's okay. I'm not the only Debbie Downer. The 2 Saturn and Sagittarius are like, come on.
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
Let's not get carried away with any toxic positivity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No. We are balancing, and we have enough Libra energy to balance everything here.
Yeah,
positive. I feel so. Okay, Capricorns, the serious ones. Will they have fun? Will they have fun for this New Year's Eve? What do you guys think? Hannah, you want to start? You have a Capricorn stellium. Let's start with you.
Yeah, well, possibly because Jupiter direct in their 5th house. So that could be quite a freeing time for many Capricorns. Though, let me think for just a moment. Sorry. So Sagittarius.
They're going to have everything in the 12th house. In the 12th,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so that's Sagittarius in the 12th. That may actually just be a good opportunity for many Capricorns to do a lot of inner reflection, and maybe to actually choose a little bit of time behind the scenes, maybe just even going over their visions, because we think about Mercury still being retrograde on the final day before turning direct on the 1st of January, but then Mercury was retrograde in Capricorn's 1st house as well. So I feel as if for many Capricorns, it's just a good opportunity to kind of reflect on, right, okay, what came up during Mercury retrograde from the 13th of December up until the 1st of January. And then some contemplation involved, mull things over. And besides, I think Capricorns can be like that anyway. A Capricorn would more likely just go, right, I don't need to go to the party. I don't, what's the point in that? It's not useful to me right now. I'm trying to focus on this thing that's more important and more meaningful to me. So, it could be that things align that way.
Unless they can meet somebody they can have use of, if they can go to a party or they can meet somebody and then for business opportunity or meet somebody powerful who can help them strive, right? I think who is in the 1st house, they want to feel empowered. They're going to feel empowered. I feel, so
yeah, the trine from Jupiter should help Capricorns, I would say, soften up that energy a little bit for them. Hopefully, because there's a lot going on in their 12th house. And like earlier in the day, they're not going to feel sociable in Ireland anyway because their moon is going to be in Leo. But earlier in the day, moon in Leo in the 8th house, you know, more inner stuff coming up, so much going on in their 8th house. And then moon in Virgo, 9th house, like, yeah, maybe a change of scenery will be good for Capricorn rising around this time. You know?
Okay, guys, what do you think?
I mean, most of them are celebrating their birthday this time of year, though. Like, the sun is in their first house, right? So if you are a Cap sun, you're celebrating your birthday. Regardless, if you're just Cap rising and the sun is somewhere else, though, I think anytime the sun passes through the first, there is this sense of like, you know, and I think like most earth signs are pretty content with being in the background of things, with like being the stable platform which upholds processes, you know, rather than being in the sunlight themselves. But like when the sun is in the first, it's a chance to have the light shown upon you, your character, your identity, to be recognized, right? And that can be a vulnerable and I think difficult moment for Capricorn, as it is like in Scorpio, Virgo, and Cap strike me as the most private or introverted or introspective of the signs. Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn, is the natural enemy of the sun, right? Like in the Thema Mundi. And yet, you know, nothing can thrive without sunlight, right? So like embracing recognition, embracing being seen, I think by others, you know, at this time would be important for Capricorn. And there's a sense that doing so will bring rewards with Jupiter in the 5th. And I mean, Uranus is in the 5th too. So like unexpected pleasures, unexpected delights, unconventional delights. Have you daydreamed about skydiving? Go skydiving. You know what I mean?
I'm just thinking about Caleb. You reminded me about, you know, Capricorns actually, you know, having New Year's Eve with like a board members meeting. Like, okay, let's have a board members of the board meet up for this year, and then somebody suddenly, you know, says, "Come on, let's fill a party and have some drinks out." But you know, I think feeling like they're gonna have like a business gathering. Okay, let's have plans for next year. What is it? You know, I'm in power. I want this. I'm just having envisioned Capricorns having a board meeting for this year. Okay, Andrew, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I actually was going to touch on a lot of what Caleb said. I really like the sun in the first house for that nice recognition, that spotlight moment. The personality striving towards its ideal images and its what it wants. It's gold medal, if you will, getting a gold medal for something and someone being recognized for something. And I like that and the trine to Jupiter in the 5th. So yeah, romance too. What I was really focused on was the stelling the planets in the 12th house for Capricorn risings. So time of contemplation. I feel like that's what it's going to be for them. It's going to be a time of contemplation, maybe some inner wandering, just that kind of searching, that meditation, that silence, that isolation. And then it's going to be squaring their 3rd house, so that silence and contemplation might give rise to them communicating or conveying some kind of message or receiving some kind of message.
I like that.
Yeah, that and and that immediate environment too goes into play. But yeah, I thought the contemplation and then leading out to being able to communicate some kind of message for them.
Awesome! Wow, that's deep and profound for New Year's Eve. But I love it. I love it. Sid, do you want to add something before we close Capricorn?
Just to finish that off, like, yeah, I'm not sure if you mentioned that the new moon is in the 12th for Capricorn, so it's more like in a straightforward way, the unconscious material that is bubbling up through and in your environment. So I guess that's all I have to say about that.
Nice.
Awesome. Cool. Okay. Aquarius. We have one Aquarius to here, right? Woohoo! How do you feel? What's gonna happen? You have also Sag in the 11th house.
Like, because it's
What
like
are you saying?
I think Is it the 11th house where the new moon is for Aquarius? The lunation cycle?
For Aquarius risings, yes. For Aquarius risings, yeah, it's in the 11th house.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Aquarius rising, yeah. So I think it's a good one for let's see, like 11th house stuff. Like I think I wrote down money stuff too. So I must be something in the second house there, and then fair exchange of resources. How is the energy being transmuted or transmitted through those networks? So yeah, maybe a fun socializing time during New Year's with your friends. Finally, like because like I said earlier about with the fixed signs kind of having gone through the ringer, like you can finally kind of take a break and enjoy it. But I don't know much more to add to that. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that. And just to build on that, Sid, with Saturn in the second, that what they've been with quite a bit since Saturn's entered Pisces, March of 2023, is delays to do with their self-worth and having to, in a way, I suppose, reconstruct and redefine how it is that they feel worthy. What is meaningful in that regard. But then perhaps with all that 11th house energy, maybe that's kind of coming along, and it's saying, see the opportunity, see the possibilities. You're not as stuck as you think you are. You've so much more worth than you think you do. Networking could come up with this one, reaching out into new communities, expanding their horizons within multiple groups, and feeling like they're a part of something. That's what Aquarians want. That's what Aquarian is here for. Especially people with sun in Aquarius, you think about purpose, but their purpose is to be a part of something that's bigger than them. So I feel as if this New Year's Eve could be a good nod. It's like a good nod to, you belong here. This is your mission. This is your purpose. And there's freedom in that, and that can maybe help them grow and expand.
I love that.
Lovely.
Oh, that's so nice for Aquarius people.
Yeah,
Catriona?
and I think the trine from Jupiter, is going to help Aquarius as well. Like that stellium in their 11th house really speaks to me about social activism. If there's some cause that they're passionate about, because the sun is going to be in their 12th house. So sun in the 12th house, I always feel best use of that energy is serving the collective, serving the less fortunate. So if there is some cause that Aquarius rising is passionate about, and I've yet to meet an Aquarius rising that doesn't have some cause they're passionate about. I think it would be a really good time for them to get together with some friends and do some social activism around.
I hear Catriona. Sorry, so I can see Aquarius risings. They're protesting outside at midnight. They're going like that, woo, and stop the war.
Giving meals to the homeless or something. Always like the energy of going to maybe hospitals or like homeless shelters, things like that.
That's a good one.
I think moon in the 8th house as well. They're going to be, the energy there to help other people, to be service oriented, help others that are less fortunate, others going through trauma at this time. I think Aquarius needs to put that energy outwards. When the 11th house is so activated for them, and they can find their community and find connection in that.
Yeah, and lots of work with the 12th house. Pluto is going to be there with the sun, and Mercury retrograde started there. So 12th house is also going to activate a lot for Aquarius risings. The themes of subconscious and just finding that, inner voice, inner strength, deep research, deep with 8 houses connected. Yeah, some deep research as well.
I guess let me just add to that they shouldn't be ready for some spectacular things, because this planet Pluto is about to there's still be a little bit next year where it goes back into Capricorn for like a month or two, but get ready, because we got a preview this year, and now after 2024 it's going to be, Pluto will be in Aquarius until after 2024, it'll be there until 2044. So just be prepared for that, to get ready for that. It's been, and Pluto's been in Capricorn in the 12th for so long, so now it's ready. Like whatever those big projects are, be mindful of that. That's all I'll also say as a preview for Aquarius, people with Aquarius rising or are governing in their chart.
Yeah, Caleb, you and I with the Gemini and Libra stelliums, I feel empowered already for the next 20 years.
Oh
right?
yeah.
It's going to find all our planets. So it's going to be cool.
In fact, being a Libra rising, I found that those 3 months of Pluto and Aquarius, I was able to like kind of organize and systematize some of my things with these AI models, with ChatGPT, for example. So I found that really kind of pleasant, especially because right now it's been crazy for me with having Libra and Aries, and so with the Pluto square to my Venus right now, and then like it's just like I'm so ready for this new world in many ways, but at the same time we always have to be aware that there's going to be shadow energies. But yeah, in so many ways I'm excited about that.
Wow, I love that. Yay. Caleb, do you want to add anything for Aquarius, so we can move on to Pisces?
I don't honestly have a lot more to add for Aquarius, as I feel like many of you have said a lot of really salient points about Aquarius, especially what to do with like the 11th house stellium, for instance. I just wanted to say I hate to go. This has been a lovely chat, but I do have an obligation
Okay.
to meet up with another astrologer, ironically, in about 15 minutes.
No worries.
No.
To keep talking about the planets with another person. But this has been fabulous. And yeah, I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about Pisces with Saturn in their first, honestly.
No problem. I know we almost 2 hours in time. We just when you meet up, you can't stop talking. Thank you very much, Caleb, for stopping by. All the info about Caleb's accounts are going to be in the description below. Don't forget to follow him on Instagram and everywhere else. And his website is so poetic and beautiful. If you just go there and see his writings, very magical. It has this beautiful life. Just go check his website. Anyway, I have to say that.
It's good to
Yeah,
talk
well,
to you.
It's nice to meet you.
I'm the one.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much. And have a great
And
weekend.
Happy
Bye.
New Year's.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Take care.
Okay, Pisces. Let's see, what can we say for Pisces? It's the last one. What is happening for them? They're going to have this stellium in the...
We've Andre, Pisces rising.
Yes, go Andre.
Where is Pisces sign in our midst?
Yeah. So the stellium is going to be in the 10th, right? Wait.
Yeah.
I didn't hear you.
Yeah.
I said you're the rarest rising sign in
Yes,
our midst.
yeah, right.
Like,
It's the rare in the northern hemisphere. Pisces is the rarest rising sign.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. I didn't know. Okay. Cool. Wow. Nice.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of Virgo. Virgo rising is the most common.
Yeah.
Actually, Virgo and Libra rising are the most common in northern atmosphere. The opposite. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, but yeah, the 10th house stellium, man. I definitely am seeing some stuff with career happening, and then perhaps that because it's making a superior square to the first where Saturn is. I also have Saturn in the first house, so I'm going through the Saturn return thing right now, and actually Neptune is directly with my ascendant, so it's
wow.
Yay!
Yeah, just, some stuff going on with career and perhaps materializing into your own shaping how you express your personality. As again, Saturn has been asking me how I show up in just acting like a person, like acting as who I am. And my Saturn return, I feel really prompted me to get my astrology practice started. So just perhaps your vocation, your calling, formulating and impacting your own personal expression, like how you show up as who you are. And yeah, just that really quick.
Oh my God, Andre, I just realized your Saturn has been caught in the Saturn retrograde degree. So you've been hit by Saturn 3 times this year.
Yeah.
And nothing but love and respect. That is an intense Saturn return. Pisces rising, I mean, yeah, their 10th house is lit up and the sun is going to be in their 11th house. So I actually think it's probably one of the best rising signs for socializing, perhaps. Because, with the sun in the 11th house, you're going to feel the need to connect with your community, go out and socialize. Moon in your 7th house. So yeah, it's just such lovely aspects for getting together with, one-on-ones and with your community. Like, it's like a night for you and your partner and you and your friends. It's just really lovely energy. Yeah, like irrespective of Saturn in the 1st house. Chiron is going through your 2nd house at the moment. So like huge evaluations around your self-worth, your self-esteem, and yeah, your source of income, I guess. But I guess Jupiter, the trine from Jupiter to the Sun in the 3rd house, I think you want to be feeling really positive when you're with your buddies. New Year's Eve. Yeah, it's a nice one, I think, overall for Pisces rising.
Yeah, I wouldn't commute either, just because Uranus is in the 3rd house. It's also, it could be just like Mars, very explosive, and you can have like a flat tire or something. Yeah, with Uranus in the 3rd. So
Uranus is so slow moving, though. Are we gonna stay at home with Uranus in your 3rd house? We'll be at home a lot.
No, Leos are partying. So Leos and Taurus people are partying
every day. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we have some signs partying and some signs. Yeah, what can you say? Okay, Hannah, what do you say about Pisces risings?
Ooh, I feel like a lot of really valuable things were to be said, and I'm trying to think of what else to add. Perhaps drawn from the Black Moon Lilith energy opposite, in the 7th house for Pisces, and then with the moon there. Perhaps there will be many emotions that are shed, released, or maybe it's about accessing certain limited emotions, or because of course with Saturn as well there, and that's in Pisces as well. So yeah, it could be a good night of liberation and freedom in this respect. But I would also just suggest with this one, just to be cautious perhaps of how you do that, how you because Pisces can have the tendency, of maybe turning towards certain substances or certain dependencies as a way to escape. So maybe that's just something to look out for. But if done in a healthy way, this could be quite a healing time for many Pisces risings.
Yeah.
And then I think sorry.
I was gonna say, instead of drinking a lot, go meditate for New Year's Eve. They're gonna, with the Neptune in the 1st, and Saturn, you can meditate in a disciplinary way. So it's like a structured meditation.
Have a glass of water between each drink might be more reasonable for Pisces rising.
I'm kidding.
Very good point about Black Moon Lilith. Like Black Moon Lilith is going to be in Pisces rising 7th house. So she could be stirring up a little bit of kind of drama around relationships. So that's something to be wary of, actually, that energy. Yeah. But apart from that, it's looking quite wholesome for Pisces rising.
Yeah. And just to add, sorry, to what I was saying a moment ago, with just again building from what you already said with the 10th house, I agree with that. And yeah, I think in this way, it could be a good opportunity for many Pisces to see the possibilities, the opportunities that lay ahead for them with respect to their purpose, career, vocation, etc. And then even with Jupiter being one of their chart rulers, the traditional chart ruler for Pisces, Jupiter will be direct then in the 3rd house. So, this could even be a little bit of extra, confidence, regarding communication, having a little bit of oomph, especially because with Jupiter being retrograde and the pre-shadow period as well, things have been coming up a lot for Pisces with regard to how it is that they project themselves through communication, and it's doing so in ways where maybe it's doing something outside of their comfort zone. Maybe a little bit of that can be quite helpful. Even that added to Mercury, even turning direct on the 1st of January there in the 10th house. So I think there's going to be a lot of themes regarding how it is that they communicate and how that correlates with their career status, reputation, purpose, what have you.
I love that, Hannah. I love it. Sid, do you have anything to add? Because these people are just, I'm mind blown.
Yeah, no, great, excellent commentary. There's a lot of passion activity right there for Pisceans right now. However, does it level with or square, with your sense of who you are? Are you reaching too far, reaching too fast, or going too hard for things? Accomplishments, fame, success, mastery, rank, achievement, validation at the cost of losing yourself in the process. So yeah, I would say those themes of identity, progress, purpose, achievement, professionalism. It's the
Wow.
first and 10th house that I feel like are strong activation points right now, and like, so it's about who am I in this process, like, and that's ultimately a very Piscean question when you think about it, right? Like, what am I trying to accomplish? Like, am I deluding myself, or am I being clear with the Neptune there? Or am I pursuing a vision? And even if there's some uncertainty around that, well, what will come of that? And so I see, and Pisces risings are some of my favorite people, just to be honest. I feel like they adapt well with everyone. So
Aww.
Yeah, and I think Sid made a very valid point there. You know, Pisces rising on this ascendant, all that water, it's formless energy. It adapts the form of whoever it's
yes,
around, you know. So it's so sensitive, so perceptive. I always feel Pisces rising, that water just goes everywhere. So you need to build a container for it to protect your sensitive psychic energy. The Pisces rising.
Oh,
This is a lovely end, guys. Lovely end. I think we did it 2 hours. Oh my lord, 1 hour 56 minutes. This was right. It was amazing. I can't thank you enough for coming. It makes my heart so happy. I love these gatherings. I love this talking in person. I have issues with doing videos on my own. I just can't. If I don't talk to a person, I try, and I'm talking to myself in the camera. I'm just 1 minute tip
You
every
do
morning.
have your south node is in Aries, so I think it's
Yes.
lovely that you're moving towards your north node in Libra.
Yes, I'm trying. I'm doing my North Node Libra. I'm really trying, and I can't thank you enough for all your insights and lovely things that you shared today. Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. And I want to do more of these. I think you're such a smart people, so much to give to others and community, and I learn so much from each one of you every time. So before we wrap up, tell me, guys, do you have anything planned? What is happening? I know that Catriona has a new website, so go check her out. She launched it yesterday, so woo-hoo, awesome. And Hannah and I are having another live next week with Fernanda. We're going to give you some Astro tips for next year. It's going to be more oriented on personal tips, not mundane like I did with others before. It was more mundane. It's going to be more on a personal note for each sign, whatever, like we did today, but in more depth. And then I'm also having a workshop. I'm actually having a second group now, kind of in a wrap. So check it out on my website. It's going to be about elemental balance, basic, just to help people with achieving mental, emotional, physical, and balance. And fire is, for me, soul and spirit. So we are not supposed to forget that part, as well. Do you have anything else to share? What are you having? What is happening for you? What do you want to share with the world? And where can people find you? Please tell us now. Although everything is in description, but maybe somebody wants to hear it. So please.
You can find me on the gram. That's where I usually am. Being very opinionated, sprouting vegetarian things. Yeah, find me on the gram. Really, I try Twitter, but it doesn't really work for me. I'm on TikTok.
And you have TikTok, but you have TikTok as well, right? So you have TikTok.
I have TikTok, but I had to roll back on TikTok.
Okay.
Just because I provide a lot of free content, as you know, and I give free little mini interpretations, and I couldn't keep up with the demand on TikTok. TikTok is huge.
Yeah, I'm not even going there. I can't. If I go there, it would be a rabbit hole. I just can't. I don't have the time. The kid and everything else, I just can't go to TikTok. I would, but if I go, I'm done. That's it. Then no. Yeah. Andre, what's happening with you? What do you have? I know you have extra Instagram content every day. What's happening? let's talk about it. Andre is the one who wants to talk about it. So what else do you have?
Yeah. I just work on transits, and I try to incorporate tarot into my work with lunation.
Oh yeah.
The decans. It's fun stuff, and I also do readings. So people usually just DM me. I'm trying to get my website set up and get like Catriona and be all professional, but still working on that.
Awesome.
But yeah, I'm on Instagram and TikTok primarily, also Facebook. It's all under Hermit's Path Astrology. So
cool. Awesome. Sid, where can people find you?
Well, I'm working on a few webinars right now, but there'll be information on that on my Instagram. If you're on Instagram, goldenram31, that's where I try to put most of my information, because I do have a lot of different things because I'm also on TikTok involved there. But I try to link it to my Instagram as a central thing, because I got rid of my website. It was just kind of, I don't know, it was a waste of time and money for me. So like I want to focus my efforts there. So I'll put more information there. So I would say Instagram mainly. So
okay, awesome. And Hannah, you're on YouTube very often. I know that she has great lives there's so much things. Anything that you think about astrology, you probably can go to Hannah's YouTube and you can find a video about it. Everything that you think about. I don't know. It was just, what about this? Oh, look, she has a video about it. That's basically what it is. Tell us more. What do you have in preparing for us?
Well, just to maybe counteract that a little bit, I don't really have much about aspects. Which I would like to get into aspects.
I see it coming.
But yeah, but no, I do have a YouTube channel then with many videos. Then you can check out my website, hannahselsewhere.com, and the YouTube channel.
Patreon. You have Patreon. So you have Patreon as well.
Yes, I have Patreon as well. So you can check me out, hannahselsewhere.com, Hannah's Elsewhere on YouTube. Got Patreon, which is also Hannah's Elsewhere. There's daily forecasts there. You can get access to astrology content early, as well as PDF guides to go with the astrology content, and also just to follow on from the TikTok. It's also an area that I'm a little bit like afraid of. But yeah, that's where you can
awesome.
Can find me.
Awesome. Thank you guys once more time. And I want to thank everybody who participated in our chat. I was able to highlight some of you. Thank you very much, Francisco and the creator, and very many people who share their thoughts and feelings. And if you have any other comments, please comment below and ask us questions. And all the information is below. Happy New Year's, everybody. Have a great holidays. Make use your energies wise. That's what I always say. And see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.